Hey everyone, welcome to another episode. I am your host, the only Kayla, and today I have a very special guest in studio here at Mega Atlanta Radio. Today I have Chicocurlyhead.
Hey, thank you guys.
How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good, honestly. You know, it was an early morning, and honestly, I just feel good today. I feel good, happy,
Okay,
grateful.
that's good. I know you've just celebrated a really big event in your career. Before we get into that, you are an artist. Tell everyone where you are from.
Okay, so yes, I am an artist. She got that right. I was born in Panama, Central
Okay.
America. I was raised in Panama since I was born to like the age of 9, pretty much 10, and then I moved here to Atlanta, and I've been growing up here in Atlanta since. Yeah.
So I think that's so cool because well, I'm from New York, but I always love how like when people come from other, countries and they come to like different places, and it always makes me curious, like what made you come from Panama to Atlanta?
Okay, so at that time, my family was going through like a lot of like problems. Like my uncles and stuff were involved in drugs and like all kinds of stuff, and that was kind of backfiring on the family
Mm-hmm.
to the point where my mom got shot. It was supposed to be for me actually, but I listened to her and I kind of just went on, and then a few seconds later, she ended up getting shot, and that just pretty much convinced her to like bring me and my brother here. Actually, she had to leave my other 3 sisters in Panama because she didn't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
So she brought me and my brother here to Atlanta, and yeah, me and my brother been growing up here since.
That's
Pretty much.
crazy.
Yeah.
Now, how old were you when that happened?
I was like, I think I was 9, 8, 9. Yeah.
So do you remember? I mean, for me, sometimes when I look back, I feel like I don't remember anything up until the age of like 16. It's so crazy. You just remember like a few like defining
Yeah.
moments in your life. But like, did you remember that moment at like 8 or 9 that like you were supposed to, like the bullet was supposed to go for you, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
seeing your mom get shot?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I mean, I was pretty much there, and then the thing is, I walked down right afterwards, and you just see blood all over the floor and stuff like that. And one of my sisters was like screaming, obviously
Yeah.
being in shock, and then pretty much, and then the neighbors like helped out and all that stuff. So yeah, I remember everything like that happened, like if it was yesterday, legit. Of course I do.
That's
And, yeah.
so crazy. I mean, I'm sure very traumatic because you were so young, and then
Yeah, I was
having
small.
to experience that. Does it still affect you today, that moment, or just seeing that at such a young age?
I mean, I wouldn't say it does, but obviously, like, I still remember it time to time.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, though, coming from where I come from and all that environment, I am proud of myself
Mm-hmm.
to have made the choices I've made today and, like, where I'm at this
Mhm.
moment, honestly. So I'll say that, yeah.
No, that's great. And it's good that your mom survived because I'm sure that was a very traumatic experience for you and your siblings.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you come to Atlanta. You're around 10 years old, right? 9, 10, or around that age.
Yeah.
What was that like when you first came to Atlanta? Was it a culture shock for you coming from Panama to Atlanta?
Man, that's like coming from like a jungle to a city. Like, let's just say it like that. Like,
Uh-huh.
obviously, Panama's a very tropical country, and you know, like the vibes are different, and we listen to like reggaeton and Afro beats, and you know, like reggae, all that kind of music. And over here, they listen to a lot of trap music,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of gangster music, and you know, you just see that. So it was a big change, not only like culture-wise, but the language. I had to learn English.
Mm-hmm.
And just like learning how things work. School, way different.
Mm-hmm. The
Everything.
weather.
The weather, everything. The thing is, when I got here at the airport, I lost my jacket, so I got sick like that
Aw.
same day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I lost my jacket, and yeah, pretty much it was
Mm-hmm.
like, welcome to USA.
That's crazy. I can imagine it was a culture shock because, like, I always tell everyone, I just moved to Atlanta from New York City 3 years ago, and for me, it was a culture shock. So I'm coming from another city, so I can only imagine what that was like for you coming from Panama to Atlanta. I mean, that sounds crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy for me because I was thinking the whole time we were only coming for like 2-3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, man, I didn't go back to Panama till like 6 years after.
Wow. So now, has your perspective on the city changed at all? Like, have you grown to love it?
Yeah, I mean, I love Atlanta, but at the same time, it's like I was born in Panama, so
Mm-hmm. No, of course, your roots will always be there, but
yeah.
even for me, you know, when I first got here, I was like, going back to New York. I hate it here. But now that I've been here 3 years, like I've grown to appreciate the city, and I've grown to appreciate some of the things that, you know, Atlanta has to offer. So
I think many people don't understand Atlanta.
yeah.
That's the problem. They don't understand. They think it's like supposed to be like this huge, like active city at all moments, and it's not. It's got its times. It's times where everything's chill. There's times where everybody's outside. Like
True.
that's it. So I just think people don't understand Atlanta as a city. That's just it.
No, I think that's a good analysis for sure. Okay, so now you're in Atlanta. You know, obviously you're going through the motions of learning English, going to school, all that stuff. When did you decide like you wanted to be an artist?
I actually started making music by accident. I was gonna
Really?
play soccer. Yeah, I had scholarships. I had everything ready for me to go play soccer. And then I get a phone call from this one friend who's actually African. He's like, yo, there's some guys from school. They're about to record in my basement. If you want to come through, hang out, vibe, whatever you guys want to do. If you want to come through, come through. And I was like, you know what? Why not?
Yeah, right.
I'll go.
Something to do.
Yeah, I went, and then we're hanging out. Like an hour goes by, and then they asked me, they're like, yo, you want to make a song? And I'm like, sure, why not? Let's make a song. And then that day, I wrote a full song. I recorded that song. 30 minutes later, I uploaded that song on SoundCloud. And by the next day, it had like almost 2,000 plays.
Wow. So that was the moment for you. You were like, all right, I got something, right?
That was the moment that I pretty much realized, like, one, I can write a song. Two, I guess my voice is actually good. And three is like, I actually like this. This is cool. Yeah.
And I think that's also a underrated talent is writing music. I feel like in today's day and age, you know, we see an artist, a megastar, and we hear their song and we just automatically attribute like, okay, this artist had to write the song, not even realizing like, you know, when you see the Grammys and then the song is up and then there'll be like 10, 15 writers and it's like, what? Like I thought this person wrote the song. So I think that the fact that you can write music is big. It's a big talent and not everybody has that. So I think that that's great. So after, you know, you did the SoundCloud, you uploaded the song on SoundCloud. How long after did you say, okay, I'm going to take this serious and I'm going to put out a single or a project?
I think like a year later.
Okay.
I mean, the thing is after I made that song, I spent the whole summer with those friends in my boy's house. Like, legit.
And just creating?
Just making, just having fun. Like, I remember we'll film, like, everything, too, because it was just like, why not? Just have fun. And, yeah, like, a lot of those things were cool moments for me. That was like, who would have thought out of, like, that one thing I was really finna make music, like, trust me, everybody thought I was gonna play soccer. It was like guaranteed. It was like, yeah, he's gonna play soccer, man.
Yeah.
Like it's for sure. But yeah, at the end, I chose to make music. I was like, you know what? I don't want the time to go by and me like, oh, what would have happened if I would?
Yeah, wonder what if.
Yeah, I didn't want to have no doubts, no thoughts or anything in the future. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna give music a shot, and who knows if nothing happens in like the first like 5 years or something? Who knows? I'll probably jump back into soccer. I don't know.
At least you can say you tried it.
Yeah.
Now, when you made that decision to do music, was your family supportive, like your mom and stuff, or was she kind of like, no, you got to do soccer? Because music is, you know, it's hard.
It's a risk. It's a risk. Yeah, my mom was supportive. I would say that. I remember, too, because when I actually, like, in the pandemic, she gave me $50. And those $50 she was going to use to pay the light bill. And she didn't have no more. It was like $50. And she gave me those $50, and I went to the studio, and I made one song that whole pretty much year because of the pandemic. And that one song I uploaded, and that was the song that pretty much picked up everything, like on Spotify. I uploaded the song, kind of pitched it to Spotify, and then they started playlisting it everywhere.
Wow, congratulations. That's big. So once you made that decision and you like started making music and things like that, I know you started like in around 2019, right?
Yeah.
So you've been releasing singles since then, but you just released an EP, DiaDreamer. So let's talk about that a little bit. Yeah. What was that like for you putting together like a full project now, you know, instead of just writing singles and, you know, putting that out?
Yeah, so DiaDreamer has a concept. Okay, so all those 6 songs that came out, those are all real stories about me in a way. But the twist to it is that I would daydream about those things like for a long time, very long time, and I wasn't understanding why. And you probably think when I sleep, I'm probably dreaming about these things too. The thing is, I don't dream when I sleep. It's like if I go to sleep, black, and I wake up. So I was always questioning like why, like why am I daydreaming about this so much? And it got to the point where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make a song about all this. And then I did, and that's why the first track is called DiaDreamer.
Yeah.
But afterwards, I was like, you know what, this should be a whole project. Like this is a whole thing that's happening to me, and it's real, and it's authentic. And I was like, let's make it a project. And that's why all these things are there's. That's why there's only 6 songs for one, and 2, it's like it's an interesting concept. You're like daydreamer. You're kind of like, what is that? Even though it's obviously daydreaming.
Yeah.
But when you switch it in Spanish and English, you're like, huh, that should be interesting. And then, yeah, pretty much. It's just a whole concept about me, and it's just me. It's real. It's like my stories.
And it tells a story,
Yeah,
you know, so that's the great part of it. And one thing I love about it too is like, because I did listen to the EP, is that it's Spanglish. Like, you know, it's not just fully in Spanish and it's not just fully in English. It is literally like the perfect mix of both languages, English and Spanish. So we're going to talk, I'm going to go down each track and then really quickly just tell me a little bit about like what that record's about, okay? So the first one is DiaDreamer, which we obviously elaborated on.
Yeah.
I really like that one. Next one is No Te Vayas. What's that about?
You know when you just don't want somebody to leave? That was just a real personal story. Like, you know, it was at a time where I was being really honest about what I wanted and what I didn't want, but I didn't have a choice. It's like, this is what I want, but I also don't want this, but what can I do?
So it was like that battle between the two.
And then me being such an honest person, I was just like, I just don't want the person to leave. That's the truth.
So it was about like a real relationship that you were in.
A real relationship, yeah. Like,
does that person know that you wrote the song about them?
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
the
cool.
person knows. I was like, yeah, I'm just an honest person. So
That's cool.
Like, yeah.
Track number 3, ¿Quién es ella? No, ¿Quién es esa? Sorry.
¿Quién es esa was a real party situation. That's why the song has such a like West Coast Cali vibe. It's like a house party vibe because it was like a real encounter in a party, and I was just questioning myself like,
You're
yo,
like,
who
who's
is that
girl?
Like, who's that for real? Like, I was like, yo. So that's why I was like, let's do it, and I just gave it that vibe. I was like, yo, it has to feel like how it happened.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Track number 4, Cuerpito de Primavera.
Cuerpito Primavera. Oh, okay. So that was a real high school experience.
Okay.
A lot of people in high school consider me popular during high school years. I didn't see myself like that.
You're like prom king.
Yeah, I didn't even go to prom. It got canceled. But yeah, a lot of people consider me like popular in high school, and I realized that a lot of females, they felt like they couldn't approach me because they thought I was in like this certain status, and I found that out after high school, and that's what really motivated me to create this song. It's more of like a complimenting song to like, yo, it's cool, like, you look great. Doesn't matter, like, you should love yourself, appreciate yourself. You look great, pretty much.
I love that.
Yeah.
Track number 5, How It Goes. What's that about?
Oh, that's about Atlanta.
Okay,
Yeah.
what about Atlanta?
I mean, I'm from Atlanta, and I mean, a lot of people know. In Atlanta, there's like the South Side, which is where I grew up. We just bad. Like, we just bad, honestly. People steal, people do anything. And at that time, my mom didn't have money. She didn't have a job, obviously, coming from Panama. No papers and stuff like that. So sometimes me and my brother will have to like steal. But we'll steal like speakers out of like Walmart, and I'll resell them for more, and I'll just get money. That's really what I would do sometimes. Back then, at least a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And pretty much it was just a little bit about like me and how I was first growing up in Atlanta.
Okay. And the last track, My Honestidad.
I'm just a really honest person, you know?
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, good or bad. So it was one of those tracks where I was like, yo, I'm going to be honest. Look, this and that. The good, the bad, and
everything in between.
Yeah. This is me being like honest. So that's why I had to close it out like that. And people will probably think I closed it out in a trap, but nah, it was acoustic. So that I think that was dope. It was like, okay, this is a switch up for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing I love about it is that literally every track has to do with something that you really went through in your life and like those experiences. I think that's really cool, you know, because like there's other artists like I mentioned before that'll, you know, reach out to 10 different writers. Hey, can you write me a song about this? And then we'll listen to it and think like automatically like, oh wow, this is what this person's going through. But it's like, nah, that's just like the vibe they were going for. But like when people listen to your music and especially this EP, it's like they almost get to know you on a deeper level because these are real life experiences that you've gone through. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't know about other artists or rappers or whatever it is, but for me, it's like, if you're not writing your own songs, or at least helping write your own songs, like, is it really your song?
That's true.
Like, yeah, you can tell somebody a full story, but like, the way you tell your story is how you feel, how you view it. It's like anybody else can write it. It might be like this, and it might sound pretty, but it's like the way you do it, the way you write it, the way you express it.
Yeah.
That's the best way, because it's your story. It's nobody else's story. It's your story. So you should be telling that story.
That's true.
Yeah.
So for people who are just now tuning in to Chicocurlyhead, how would you define your sound?
Oh, man. Honestly, I would say unique. Like, I've heard people do Spanglish. I've heard people do, like, pretty cool Spanglish, I would say, yeah. But I haven't heard nobody do it like how I did it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'll be honest, and I think I'm in my own lane. And yeah, I would say unique, fun, and just like you have the option to pick. Like, I tell people I'm not a rapper. I was like, I'm an artist, man. Like, I can go. Like, you can hear it on this project. I gave you a cool mixture. I gave you an acoustic song. I gave you a trap song. I gave you a West Coast vibe song. I gave you a very, like, R&B-ish Latino, if you want. Like, I gave you flavors. You pick, pretty much. It's like lay it out for you, and you pick what you like. That's the thing. I give you options. You can have options. And I feel like an artist should be able to give that. Should be able to give the fans, the people, options. Not just a one-time thing. Like, we heard it.
Yeah.
I done heard the trap. Cool. I even know when I haven't heard a song, for example, a new song came out. I know when the song's going to switch. Like, that's how repetitive music has got. And for me, it's like, nah, man, we're going to take this very differently. We're going to actually give people options to pick, to be like, wow, this is different, but it's really cool.
And I think that's also what a lot of people are learning to appreciate and respect in the industry now is that like creativity of like thinking outside of the box, because music has become very generic nowadays. It's the same thing over and over again. And I think even the artists who have been in the game for so long, like even Nicki Minaj, I saw an interview with her recently and she said, all of the music sounds the same. That's why for that song that she did with Lil Baby, she kind of switched up a little bit because she was like, I don't even like. She was saying like within female rap, like the lyrics have just become really, really vulgar, and that's like the trend now. And so that's why she even cleaned up some of her lyrics because she's like everything sounds the same. So I think that when an artist like you comes up, people can definitely appreciate that creative process of not putting you into a box and like, hey, you never know what you're gonna get, you know?
Yeah, and like, I mean, if you listen to the project, there's only one song that says like one cursing word. The rest is clean. But you'll never notice because you get the same feel.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, outside of being different, it was also like, yo, can we make this not explicit? And then that's why I took an approach. I was like, yeah, we can talk about it. Like, I can, man, trust me, I can play it a full gangster if I wanted to. Even get tattoos. I have no tattoos. No tattoos. Nothing. I was like, but you wouldn't hear that. You hear my music and you're like, oh, wow, this guy's dope. And then you probably look at my picture or something, I don't know, and you'll be like, okay, but he actually looks different. Cool. Like, yeah, it's like stuff like that. And I was just like, man, music just sounds the same as boring, to the point where I don't get the feel of even wanting to listen to like a new Music Friday playlist. Like, I don't. It just sounds the same.
Doesn't excite you anymore.
Reggaeton doesn't excite me anymore either, which is kind of sad because I really like reggaeton. But I was like, man, it just sounds the same topics.
Yeah.
same rhythms, like flows, lyrics. Like it's like if they don't know, they don't know what else to do. And for me, it's like just get a little more creative. And I feel like a lot of that is also not exploring with different genres.
Yeah.
For artists, and I like to explore a lot. Like I have indie songs that people would probably never like expect from me. Like so many cool things I have that I just feel like are different, and if the right ears hear it, they'll be like, oh wow, this is different, this is cool. But I don't know. Music is in a interesting space right now. I'll say that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So now I know you're enjoying the release of your EP and all the love and support that you're getting. What's next for you? What are your plans after this EP?
Oh man, my plans honestly, I wanna get super more creative.
Ooh, okay.
Like way more creative. It's gonna take more time, obviously. In my eyes, it's gonna take more time. But outside of the music, honestly, man, I want to start like doing more shows and cool collaborations, cool like partnerships too, which are gonna be dope. For example, I have 2 shows in Mexico actually with Tiago Pesica.
Oh wow.
Yeah, coming up. That's gonna be really dope. We're doing another festival in Mexico too, actually. So it's like 3 shows in Mexico coming up, and pretty much outside of the music, it's like performing.
Yeah.
Cool ideas and collaborations, brands and stuff like that. Just cool stuff that, once again, outside of the music, I think really making artists is being creative, not just with music, but outside of music.
Yeah, that's dope. Well, congratulations on those shows and everything that you have coming up. As we wrap up this interview, I like to play a fun little segment with all of my guests. It's called 5 Questions Nobody Ever Asks, okay? So it's a rapid fire segment. I'm going to ask you 5 questions, and then, you answer them in like a timely manner, okay?
Okay.
All right. So the first question I ask all of my guests is, who is the most famous contact in your phone?
Oof, Gary V.
That's a big contact, okay? And I actually saw you posted up with Gary Vee and Dirk, so
Yeah.
that's crazy. That's really dope, though. He's
Great guys, by the way. Dirk is one of the coolest rappers.
He looks it. I watch a lot of his interviews, and Gary Vee obviously is super motivational. So to have that contact is huge.
Outside of Gary Vee being super smart, he's funny as hell.
Really?
That guy's funny as hell. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so question number 2: what is your biggest pet peeve?
Ooh. Honestly,
Yeah.
just keep it real, good and bad.
That's your biggest pet peeve?
Yeah, keep it real, good or bad. Because at the end of the day, whatever happens, you kept it real.
So you want people to keep it real with you?
Just keep it real.
Okay.
And that's it.
All right. Question number 3: if you could create a joint album with anyone, who would that be with?
St. John.
That would be so cool. I'm a big St. John fan. I love him.
That guy's great. He's
Yeah.
fire. He's different. And he's underrated.
And he also writes his music too.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, I love his sound. I love his voice. I like that one. Big fan of his. Question number 4: what is your go-to Atlanta food spot?
Ooh, man, that's a tough one now. Oof. I would say, I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna say $3 Cafe.
$3 Cafe? Where's that?
That's in Gwinnett.
Okay.
And there's a couple spots, but there's one in Gwinnett, which is the closest one to where I live.
Okay, $3 Cafe. All right, I got to check that out. And question number 5. So I thought this was going to be a hard question for you, but after talking about you not really feeling the reggaeton scene, I don't know if it's going to even be that hard,
All
but...
right, I'll give you one more question. You can add a 6th one.
Okay.
Whatever question you want, I'll say that.
Okay, so for this one, I was going to ask you, Daddy Yankee or Bad Bunny?
I ain't gonna cap, Bad Bunny.
Really?
Yeah, like real talk. I tell people this all the time, just because Bad Bunny does what he wants with his music.
That's true, he does.
And
you get different sounds from him, because he did a whole rock album, the last one.
Like,
So.
And I just create what I want.
Okay.
So he's like, it's not so much the music or like stuff like that. It's just the freedom that he expresses with his music. And he's like, yo, you don't have to follow this plan. You can create your own plan. And if people like it, they'll follow and they'll pretty much support you. That's what it is.
I think he also, what I love about him is that he also kind of like redefined what like reggaeton is supposed to look like. You know, everybody thought like reggaeton was like, you know, these like super masculine men, and like they were always talking about women. But like Bad Bunny came in here, changing the whole game. He does music. He does the music that he wants. You know, he wears like he had like a skirt on one time, and people were like freaking out. And so he does what he wants. Like he said, yo hago lo que me dé la gana.
Yeah, it's like it's just freedom.
Yeah,
the freedom to create, to express himself. It's like, yo, I think this is cool, or I support this, or whatever he wants.
Yeah.
It's like, sure, let's do it.
Awesome. Now you said you had a sixth question?
Yeah, you can ask me another question if you want.
Well, I don't have one. I only have 5.
You can make it up. I don't know.
All right, let's see. Oh my God, I'm being put on the spot now. I don't know. Oh my God, I'm actually stumped. You got a question?
How do you get to meet Gary Vee?
They reached out to me, yeah, him and his team. They was like, yo, Chico, we heard your project. It's fucking fire. We'll be in Atlanta today. Could you meet us at the Four Seasons? And I was like, sure. I was free that day. Luckily, like literally, I was gonna stay home and rest. Finally, I was gonna.
So
rest.
his team or him, they reached out to you?
Pretty much like his team and him, really.
They called you or DM'd you?
They DM'd me, actually.
That's insane. What was that moment like for you when you get a DM like from Gary Vee's management team, like, oh, by the way, we heard your EP and we want to meet you? I would probably freak out.
For me, I was like, I remember I went up to my brother. I was like, yo, do you know Gary Vee? He was like, Gary Vee? I was like, yeah. He was like, Gary Vee? I was like, yeah, him. He was like, why? Yeah. I was like, yo, his team actually wants me to link up with him. He was like, no fucking way. I was like, yes, like I'm serious. Like they want me to go meet them downtown in the city, the Four Seasons, and I went, and then pretty much they were just waiting there for me, and we chopped it up. And he's like the coolest guy. He was like, Chico, right? I was like, yeah. He was like, man, I heard the whole project, man, it's fire. Outside of that, then that's when they asked me. They was like, yo, we're gonna link up with Lil Durk. Actually, it was like, they said it's cool if you want to come by. You want to come by? And I was like, yeah, let's do it.
That's insane.
Pretty much went. Guy's like great.
Yeah.
He's super smart, super cool, and pretty much like genuine. He's like real genuine person. He gives people like the respect that you give a regular person outside of like being famous.
That's so cool. I would have probably like not passed out, but like I love Gary Vee. I'm like Lil Durk, a fan of him. But I'm still waiting for like Drake to slide out my DMs and be like, hey, I know you've been wanting to interview me. Like, come meet me at the Four Seasons. All right, cool. Like, but anyway, thank you so much for stopping by. Chicocurlyhead, please tell everyone where they can find you on social media, where they can stream your project, and just what you have coming up.
Oh, man. All right, so you guys can find me anywhere at Chicocurlyhead, legit. You actually can go stream my project on Spatial Audio, Apple Music. And it's available on Spotify, too, and all these playlists and everywhere else. Really, you can find me anywhere at Chicocurlyhead. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much for stopping by. I look forward to all of your success.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. And yeah.